Здравствуйте, с вами Александр Ломашевский, и это прохождение Фаллаут 4 за Институт. Как вы помните из прошлой части, кто не смотрел, ссылка чуть выше, мы узнали, что руководитель, директор Института — это наш собственный сын, который, оказывается, которому уже 60 лет и так далее. Мы согласились на его предложение вступить в Институт. И первое, что он первое задание, которое он нам дал, ну, как бы не задание, так, познакомиться с персоналом, то есть самыми основными людьми, руководителями отделений. Первый, с кем мы познакомились, это Элли Филмор, это ведущий инженер института.
Absolutely. We scratch and scrape over the years. We've learned when necessary, we can tap into select sources. Right. Fortunately, advanced systems, it's a good thing too, because sure. You don't even want to know what a single use of.
Oh, I don't know. Most of them have...
Второй персонаж, с которым мы познакомимся, это Джастин Айо, руководитель отдела робоконтроля. Они выискивают сбежавших синтов и возвращают их обратно в институт. Кстати, из всех самых приближенных лиц к отцу, ну или к нашему сыну, как угодно, в принципе, этот персонаж относится к нашей персоне наиболее недоверчиво.
Why? Don't you trust me?
Oh, it's nothing personal. I don't trust... Now, Father has asked that I provide you with a brief overview of this. Our primary responsibility is the recovery of escaped synths.
So, basically, you're the...
Secret police? If that's a pre-war reference, then... Our main instrument is the Courser, a third-generation synth assigned... Coursers hunt down and reclaim synths. They are highly self-sufficient, trained in combat, infiltration, and... But I gather you know all this, since you... In fact, I'd very much...
I'm no stranger to combat.
Even so, a Courser should be more than a match. I suppose I'll have to ask robotics to perform detailed diagnostics on the... Now, unless you need something else, I'll get back to work.
I'd like to know more about the synth reclamation.
Fine. Once a Courser has located a rogue synth, it uses that synth's recall code. We then begin the delicate process of in those cases where the procedure is successful, the synth returns to duty with... All too often, we're unable to repair the damage and are forced to
Далее мы знакомимся с доктором Ли, руководителем отдела высших систем, то есть производства оружия, синтов, ну и так далее.
Well, I'm sure Father is very happy.
What is it you're working on?
Advanced systems, special projects. You've seen the boy, synth, already. Oh, before I forget, let me see that Pip-Boy of yours. I've been told to install a Courser chip in it for you. You're to be given full access, with the ability to relay in and out of the Institute at will.
Thank you. I'm sure that...
Given that the relay is the only way to access the Institute, in case the significance is lost on you, you'll be the only one here with that kind of access. If nothing else, it should demonstrate the amount of trust Father has placed in you. Now, unless there's something else, I really do need to get back to work.
I'm good for now. Thanks.
All right.
I wish I had more time to spend.
Ну что ж, последние руководители из отделов — это руководитель отдела бионаук. Они занимаются выращиванием растений, производством в лечебных целях, пищевых. Также они даже вырастили синтетических горилл, что уже не может не удивлять.
We cultivate highly specialized breeds of... We've even started to explore the idea of synthetic animals. You probably saw the gorillas. They're really just a pet project at this point, but
The gorillas are
They are indeed. Judging by your reaction, the initiative is still in its early stages. But I'm sure I've taken up enough of your time as it is. But I have...
I'm not sure.
It's a big decision, I know. But it's also a rare and... In any case, I imagine you'll want to continue looking around. Or...
You mentioned medical care? I might need that.
In that case, you'll want to introduce yourself to Doc. He's our top biologist, and also, sir, Dr. Volkert works in the infirmary. Just pay him a visit whenever. You won't find better medical care anywhere else.
So much research, so little time.
Dr. Holdren's synth gorilla project is showing promising results. I can't imagine living on the surface. It sounds like a nightmare.
Вообще, походив по институту, можно встретить очень много людей, которые ведут очень интересные диалоги.
I will be happy to forward your request to the Bioscience Division. In the meantime, please feel free to enjoy one of our other nutritious and flavorful food supplements.
I want Supplement 77.
I am sorry, sir, but that supplement is no longer available.
Useless machine.
The commissary is always open. Would you like some processed sustenance packets?
Don't recharge unless your primary levels are below 2%. Also, if you haven't patched your navigation software, do so after this meeting. The last thing we need is more synths bumping into walls. All right, that's all for now. You can resume your duties.
Remember, health and happiness go hand in hand. Alert the Facilities Division immediately.
Power demand jumped up.
Sir, we've had another situation. A code red.
What? This is the third time in 2 weeks. This is unacceptable. How could this happen?
We think there was a system glitch. We're looking into it.
Damn it, you're all useless. I'll figure out what happened. But in the meantime, tell the others to be on high alert. I want more patrols and more rounds.
Right away, sir.
If you see anything even remotely suspicious, report it immediately. This absolutely cannot happen again.
Yes, sir. Understood.
What others call complaining, I call critical thinking and challenging assumptions.
Далее мы возвращаемся к отцу за новыми указаниями.
What do you think?
You've got technology here that I never dreamed possible. It's amazing.
I'm glad you can appreciate what we've accomplished. Ultimately, all our knowledge and resources are focused on us. Unfortunately, no advancement comes. As remarkable as our synths are, they can be dangerous without proper. The superior synth mind and body attempting to wrestle with something approaching free will can be a recipe.
If the synths are intelligent and self-aware, then they have a right to free will.
However closely they may approximate human behavior, they are still our creation. When you see what I have to show you, I think you'll agree that we know what a rogue synth has taken over the Raider gang. His memories have been erased, and his identity altered. Under his leadership, the Raiders have dispatched a courser to Libertalia. I'd like you to...
Who erased his memory?
Those idealistic radicals who call... We'll deal with them in time. But right now, the priority is to reclaim that synth before more harm is done. Now you...
You must be the courser I'm supposed to meet.
Yes, ma'am. Designation X688. I've already neutralized the perimeter guard. Just give the word and start the assault on the main flotilla.
All right, let's go.
Right behind you, ma'am. There's something important.
Перед входом к сбежавшему синту институтский охотник нас предупреждает, что есть некий код сброса, при произнесении которой сбежавший синт просто отключится.
Followed by the authorization code Gamma 71 Epsilon. Once he's shut down, I can transport him safely back to the...
What do you mean by reset?
Put more simply, the recall code will render him unconscious, even while... That's all, ma'am. Ready?
Hey,
So, made it to the top. Is the Institute so desperate for resources that it's stealing plunder from honest, hard-working Commonwealth gangs?
How much plunder have you got?
Ah, so you are here.
What are you doing, boss? We can take these guys.
Keep your mouth shut! I know what We got a modest little stash. I'll tell you what. What do you say? Well,
You have my word. Give me what you've got and we'll leave.
the password to get into the stash is Mad Orca. Help yourself, my fellow pirate.
I'm sorry, man, but I have my orders.
Here's Ty.
Ну, я код не произнес, его произнес охотник. После чего они просто взяли и телепортировались в институт. Далее мы, естественно, возвращаемся к отцу за новыми указаниями.
I know the task was difficult, but I needed you to see firsthand how dangerous a rogue synth can be.
Why do you care what happens on the surface? You're in your own world.
Because there are forces on the surface that could pose a threat to us. And only we might diminish that danger by correcting the false perception that we intend. But enough about that. The task is done. And you've returned our synth safely to us. I couldn't have hoped for a better outcome. While you were away, I had quarters prepared for you. You'll find all the basic necessities, as well as it. Go and have a look. I think you'll...
Ну что ж, мне даже выделили комнату. Ничего, так очень даже уютненько. Институт все-таки, а не там.
Father wants to see you.
Hello, Mother. Tell me, what would you do when someone has stolen from you?
That's a loaded question. What's been stolen from you?
Institute property is not often taken from us. We cannot react lightly. The group that calls themselves the Railroad have acquired several synths from the Institute. Synths that had gone missing in recent months. They no doubt mean to free these synths, in their delusion that synths are somehow sentient beings. You've been in contact with the Railroad, so you're aware of their misguided beliefs.
What happened? What have they done?
They are in possession of technology that does not belong to them. Usually they are a minor nuisance, but lately they have become more emboldened. I'm afraid we've reached the point where a response is necessary. We have learned the current location of these synths, and need to reacquire them before the Railroad can hide them.
Sounds pretty simple.
Hopefully, yes. But it's important that we act on this soon, before the Railroad has any indication we've tracked them. We also don't want the Brotherhood of Steel getting wind of the presence of the synths. That would only complicate matters.
Hey, I'll act quickly. You can count on me.
You'll have a contact waiting for you just outside Bunker Hill. Good luck.
Снова встречаемся с охотником и слушаем его
Our
рапорт.
targets are inside. 4 synths under railroad protection. Majority of the settlement is uninvolved and are expected to run. The situation appears to have escalated. A covert approach is likely. We move in, secure the synths, and I relay out with them back to the Institute. Clear?
Далее находим сбежавших синтов
You there, Synth.
и сбрасываем их до
Please.
заводских настроек.
Just don't. B257. Initiate reset. Authorization code Theta 93 Stratus. No sudden moves.
Please, no.
Y915. Initiate reset. All right, Synth.
Please.
C322. Initiate. I've been looking for you.
No, I've got money. It's yours if you let me go.
F633. Initiate reset. Authorization.
Соответственно, возвращаемся к отцу, доложиться.
You know, In all my years, I've never set foot outside the Institute. Not once. Since the day they brought me here. But now, this just confirms the truth I've always known. The Commonwealth is dead. The only hope for humanity lies below.
So why come out here?
To put things in perspective, I suppose. Standing here, I'm reminded of how fortunate I am that I was spared a life. I know that to you, I was kidnapped from that vault. In truth, the Institute rescued me. Both of us, really.
But why refreeze me?
As a failsafe, of course. I was the perfect candidate. An infant with uncorrupted DNA. But if something were to go wrong, if I died, well, the Institute realized a contingency plan was prudent. Another source of pre-war DNA, preferably related to their primary subject. It only made sense that my parents should fill that role. So you were kept alive and safe within the vault. I'll admit, when I had you released from Vault 111, I had no expectations that you'd survive out here in all this. To not only do so, but manage to find me. To infiltrate the Institute itself. Extraordinary.
So it was you. You let me out?
Yes. It was my decision. Certainly it was no longer necessary to keep you suspended. Well, I suppose I wanted to see what would happen. An experiment of sorts. Would the Commonwealth corrupt you, as it has everything else? Would you even survive? Perhaps most curious to me, would you, after all this time, attempt to find me? And now I know the answer.
That's all this is to you? All I am to you? Just another experiment?
No, that's not all. But still, I'm glad it turned out the way it did. There are greater things to come after your success at Bunker Hill. The synths have been safely returned and will be repurposed. Thank you for your work. I hope you weren't at too much risk.
What do you mean, the synths will be repurposed?
Modifications will be made to correct the defects in their programming, and they'll be assigned to new duties within the Institute. Not the first or last time it will happen. The Railroad remains an annoyance, of course, but they'll be dealt with as necessary. And you, well, you've passed the test, as they say. You have done well. Please, take this as a token of my appreciation. Our appreciation, really. It's time for you to become more involved in the future of the Institute. I'd like you to join me inside. The Directorate is meeting, and you should be there. I'll be waiting. I've seen enough. It's time to go back in.
Как нам и сказал отец, идем на собрание директората.
Don't make excuses. You're clearly defective, and I intend to report this. Perhaps after you've been disassembled, we can use your components to make something that's actually useful.
Yes, sir.
Good, we're all here. I think it's time we begin.
Sir, excuse me, but what exactly is she doing here?
I will address that issue. But there are other subjects that require our attention first. The level of unrest in the Commonwealth continues to rise, as we're all aware. Your report.
All Institute facilities remain completely secure with the exception of one notable breach. Otherwise, internally, things are as tight as they've ever been. Dr. Ao has been keeping an eye on things topside.
Yes, Watchers show no additional threats beyond those previously identified. We're still monitoring the increased activity around Fort Independence, but there are no immediate signs we should be concerned. Boston International Airport remains occupied, with Brotherhood presence noted at several other points throughout the Commonwealth. Intelligence suggests that this railroad continues to operate and is becoming more ambitious. SRB agents are monitoring all known situations, sir.
Very good, thank you. It's clear that our safety needs to be the primary concern going forward. To that end, where are we on Phase 3?
Sir, are you sure this is the time to be discussing it? Given, well, considering all parties present?
Ah, yes, that's true. Have you heard anything about Phase 3?
What's Phase 3?
It's very important to us. Power is, as I'm sure you've seen above ground, a very valuable commodity. I'm not talking about some abstract concept of control. I mean real, tangible. With every advance the Institute makes, our need for raw power, many compromises and sacrifices have been made.
What kind of compromises?
We have at times had to rely on drawing power from above-ground installations. But no longer. Phase 3 is simply the activation of a nuclear reactor that can provide enough power to the Institute now and forever. It will ensure not just our survival.
Can you tell me more about this reactor?
Certainly. It was originally built for the Commonwealth Institute of Technology before the war. But was on. Over the years, we've advanced the technology, made a great many improvements, and are finally nearly ready to activate it. The reactor is close to ready, but recent tests have determined we have a few tasks ahead of us. Thus, we come to fit, and to how you will help.
Sir?
Yes, Dr. Ayo. Previously, we would rely on Kellogg for above-ground upper. While I am not overly fond of putting my own mother in harm's way, she has...
Yes, but...
This is not a matter for debate. Now, there is one more subject that requires discussion.
I don't know that this is the time.
Dr. Holdren, it is time. Please, as I'm sure several of you are already aware, I have been under Dr. Volkert's care for some time. I'm sorry, this is difficult for me. Our best efforts have failed. Every experimental treatment we could devise has been unsuccessful. I'm sorry to say I am dying.
What? Can't be
Please,
serious.
everyone, please. I am sorry. This is not how I wanted to tell you, but we're running out of time.
You're dying?
I'm afraid so. A very aggressive form of cancer. Believe me when I say we've done everything we can. We can talk more later. Right now, the Institute cannot survive without leadership. The Directorate must continue to govern with the best. To that end, I am naming my mother as my successor.
Oh, boy.
You can't be serious!
Really?
Seems a poor choice.
How can you possibly justify this? She isn't one of us. She isn't even a scientist.
Ignoring your borderline, insubordinate tone, I will simply say this. The Institute has enough scientists. What it needs is a leader. I believe my mother has already proven herself more than capable in that regard. This will conclude this meeting. Thank you.
I had no idea.
I know this is... well, it's a lot to take in at once.
I'm sorry, Mother. I hope it wasn't too presumptuous of me to put you in charge without even asking first.
What would it mean to be in charge?
Most divisions of the Institute are fairly autonomous.
Right.
Where those divisions interact, however, problems can arise. You'd lead the Directorate in setting policy. There's no question that some of the Directorate, and the Institute at large, will need That's why I'd like you to take charge of this latest operation. Dr. Phil, there are hard decisions ahead for all of us, but for you especially. I know that you'll do the right thing.
Busy day for you, isn't it? Well, it's about to get busier. You're going to lead this operation, I'm told.
What the hell is this operation about?
Hey, relax. We wouldn't send you off without the proper information. Recent events have upset our timetable. Getting the reactor online has become our #1 priority. It needs to be running, well, yesterday. We're going to have to cut some corners. I'm not thrilled, but it means we'll need to rely on some pre-war tech. You're going to the mass fusion building to acquire a beryllium agitator for us.
What's a beryllium agitator?
The details would be lost on you. No offense. The point is, it'll allow us to boost the reactor's power and get it running sooner than... You just keep me safe. I'll worry about the agitator.
Is that really necessary? I'm sure I could handle this.
Yes, it really is. Not only is this tech sensitive, it's old. Look, I'll take care of it. You just...
Sounds good. I'd appreciate the company.
Not as much as I'd appreciate coming back in one piece. I don't like going above ground unless there's no... But here we are, with our options dwindling quickly. We don't want them getting the agitator before we do. Head on up to the relay, and I'll meet you there.
Сейчас, кстати, произойдет очень важный шаг. Если я воспользуюсь телепортом, я навсегда стану врагом Братства Стали. Ну что ж, мы телепортировались в Mass Fusion, здание, где находится этот самый бериллиевый импеллер. Кстати, сейчас едем на лифте, очень прекрасный вид отсюда открывается. Перед входом в реактор, где находится этот самый импеллер, надеваем антирадиационный костюм, чтобы там не помереть. Далее включается охранная система, и нам нужно перебить охрану. Перебив, наверное, с полсотни солдат Братства Стали и охранных роботов, возвращаемся в институт.
Father always did like to challenge our assumptions.
Dr. Fillmore?
I think that was enough excitement for, well, ever. Thank you, really. Couldn't have managed it without you. I'll make sure the agitator gets where it needs to go. I understand Father is anxious to get you involved in something else. You'd better not keep him waiting.
A clean and
Interesting. You're sticking to the regimen? Yes, Doctor. I'm taking all my little pills.
Interesting. And you've been getting extra rest?
Are there many more of these questions?
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. I think that will be all for now.
But I haven't quite finished.
I believe we're done now. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I understand mass fusion was a success, despite interference from the Brotherhood of Steel.
What did you hear?
Dr. Fillmore's report was quite thorough. The Brotherhood's intervention must be placed in a larger context, however, given their penchant for hoarding technology. Future conflict with them is guaranteed. We are, after all, keepers of the most advanced technology in the Commonwealth, if not beyond. It also cannot go unnoticed that there were concerns within the Institute about your allegiances. I, of course, never doubted your commitment to our cause. But by directly confronting the Brotherhood, I think you've put some others at ease. I'm proud of you, regardless. The Brotherhood is an issue for the future, and we must focus.
Right.
And look at me. Rambling on like the old man. I'm wasting time. You're needed elsewhere at once.
Do you need more parts?
No, this is a different matter. Hopefully one that does not put anyone at risk. This situation, I'm afraid, is something of your creation.
What do you mean by that? What's happened?
Well, while you were assisting Dr. Fillmore, a second team was sent out to invite someone from the Commonwealth to join the Institute. Apparently, there was some miscommunication, and this individual called for help, which arrived in the form of your Minutemen. My understanding is that no shots have been fired. I would like it. I need you to go there and speak to your Minutemen gathered outside. Insist that they stand down at once. Dr. Thompson is on site, and he will be your primary contact. I know you can resolve this situation, but it is of paramount importance that...
Why all this effort? What's so special about this person?
Mr. Wallace? Despite a lack of formal training, our surveillance has shown he has it. With his help, we may be able to drastically speed up work under it.
General.
What's going on here?
You're an unexpected surprise. We could use the These Institute bastards aren't getting away. We don't know quite...
Can you bring me up to speed on the situation?
Commonwealth citizen lives in that there observatory. Institute thugs showed up to haul him off, only he spotted them coming. He managed to fire off a flare gun, got our attention, and we got up here. So, how do you want to play this? But then we realized we probably ought to storm the place. That makes sense, right? So, you want to lead the charge?
No one is going to do anything.
I don't... Are you kidding me? If we don't do something now, they're gonna take that poor guy wherever it is they go, and we'll have failed. Are you gonna order the attack or not?
This whole thing is just a misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding? Can't wait to hear this. Explain to me how this is a misunderstanding.
You don't have all the information. I do, and I'm telling you this...
You know what?
Ну, убедить мне его не удалось, поэтому пришлось их просто убить.
Oh, thank God you're here. I was starting to worry we might not make it out of this mess.
How exactly did this happen?
I'm not suited for field work. I've said that over and over, and they sent me anyway. There was no indication that Wallace had been in contact with anyone or was aware that we might be watching him. If I'd known, I don't know. Maybe I'd have tried to handle things differently. I know he's potentially important to Phase 3 and all, but I'm not sure it's worth putting ourselves in harm's way.
Why did the Institute send you?
They thought I'd be able to relate to him with my scientific background.
Sure.
I know they've been keeping an eye on him for years. Not sure how they originally found him, but once they realized how smart he was and what an asset he could be for Phase 3, I think they even fed him scientific material from time to time to see how good he was, you know, testing him. Let's just get Wallace and get out of it.
No argument from me.
Right. There's just, well, there's a slight problem with that. He doesn't want to go with us. I was thinking, maybe you could try and talk to him.
Any advice on how to talk to him?
Don't make him angry. Let him know we're not going to hurt him. In fact, his life would.
Mr. Wallace, I'm here to talk to you.
You're another one of them, aren't you? Are you a robot?
Sir, are you okay? Have you been injured in any way?
I'm locked in a bathroom to avoid killer robots. Of course I'm not okay! I've heard all the stories. I know exactly what happens to people when the Institute shows up. Well...
Hey, just calm down, okay? I just want to talk to you.
If I wanted to talk, I wouldn't be in here. Now just go away.
Uh-huh. What can I say to convince you that we're not going to hurt you?
That you're leaving and never coming back.
Shut up and listen to me. We're not here to hurt you, but if you make this difficult, you're gonna regret it.
See? I knew it! You're here to kill me.
Okay, look, we're out of time here. Institute, this is Dr. Thompson. I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a synth relayed to my coordinates offset by 5.3 to subdue our subject. I appreciate your help with the situation outside.
All functions
we
normal.
have to get this man back to the Institute. I expect Father will want a report from you.
Ah, there you are. I cannot express how pleased I am. Our new guest is familiarizing himself with his surroundings. Yet he's already pointed out several inefficiencies. With his help, Phase 3 will be ready in no time. And it's all thanks to you.
A lot of work went into this before I even arrived.
It shouldn't take long at all. The Facilities Division has it well in hand. There is one more part for you to play. It is time to announce our presence to the Commonwealth. To request that they do not interfere.
What kind of announcement are we talking about?
A broadcast. An announcement to the Commonwealth that the Institute is not to be trifled with. As the incoming director, that responsibility naturally falls to you. We've prepared some remarks for you to record. Once you're finished, we'll broadcast them to the entire Commonwealth. Use the microphone here and follow this script. It's quite simple. I'm sure you'll do fine, Mother.
Mm-hmm. For years now, you have suspected that the Institute still exists, that we are among you. It's true. But it's not the whole truth. We are here, and we are here to help. Our superior technology represents the future of the Commonwealth. Today, we activate our nuclear reactor, ensuring that we will persevere long after the world above ground ceases to exist. Ensuring that mankind has a future. We have no desire to interfere in the unimportant details of your personal freedoms. We simply insist that you do not interfere with Institute operations. To do so would result in dire consequences. Rest easy. Know that the future is in safe hands, and that mankind will thrive under our guidance.
Well, that was interesting. Perhaps not what we originally intended, but it will certainly get your point across. Now it's time to make sure that everyone hears it. How would you feel about making a little trip to Diamond City?
What do you want with Diamond City?
Nothing with the city itself. This is a bit of a short. The radio station in Diamond City is listened to by many. If we'd like the people to hear what we have to say, it's the best way. Before we preempt their broadcast, we need to ensure it reaches them. I've been assured that the necessary parts are on site. You'll just need to install them to boost the broadcasting power. Report back when you're done. We should be ready by then.
Радиостанция Diamond City. Здесь нам нужно просто для усиления сигнала расставить штуку с дисками, штуку с кнопками, штуку с трубками на правильные места.
Maybe this goes here. All right. In you go.
I think the radio sounds better these days. I'm not getting nearly as many complaints.
Так называемая третья фаза. Запускаем реактор.
Enjoy your trip to the big city. It's done then? The transmitter has been modified.
Everything is in place. It's ready to go when we are.
Good. Once the reactor is online, we'll cut into their broadcast. I'll let you do the honors. This, my friends, is the moment we've all worked towards. After all your effort, the time has finally come to start our reactor. No longer will we be forced to compromise to survive. No more will we need worry about outpacing our resources. My mother and I couldn't be more proud of what you have helped us accomplish. And we look forward to achieving even greater things in the future. The Institute is now truly mankind's best. Thank you. All of you. is almost hard to believe. After all those years of hard work, here we are. We've arrived. Look what you've made possible.
Now that the reactor works, what's next for the Institute?
We'll get to that. There's more work to be done before the Institute's future is guaranteed. The Directorate has convened a meeting about how to proceed. I'm not going to attend. You should be there as Director.
May I be the first to welcome you, ma'am.
Второй раз посещаем собрание руководителей института, но на этот раз уже в роли директора.
What kind of work will we be doing, exactly?
Well, normally the Directorate reviews and approves research tracks for the various divisions. Today, however, we're here for a different reason.
Right now, we're all here because it's finally time to stand up for ourselves.
Let's not be dramatic, Justin.
There's nothing dramatic about it. We're in a position to push back, to assert ourselves here. That's what we've talked about all along.
To bring you up to speed, obviously there are groups in the Commonwealth that stand in opposition to the Institute's goals. With the reactor now online, we have the ability to not only expand synth production.
Where are you going with this? What's the Institute's goal?
Well, the Directorate has agreed that steps must be taken to ensure our safety.
Let's not beat around the bush. The Directorate has agreed that the Brotherhood of Steel needs to be eliminated.
As the incoming director, we felt it important to inform you of the decision and get your thoughts on it. So, where do you stand?
Shouldn't we wait and see? Give the announcement some time to sink in before acting.
That would be stupid. Sitting on our hands would only give them time to prepare.
We've all agreed that action must be taken. As director, it's up to you and how we focus our efforts in achieving this goal. We'd like your input on what direction we should take. Do we increase synth production or focus on weapons development?
I've seen enough to know that weapons are the key to winning wars. Let's focus on weapons development.
As you wish. The advanced systems folks will get to work immediately. That's all we have for the moment. I believe Father wished to speak with you once our meeting concluded.
To be frank, I don't agree with Father's decision, but I'll accept it.
Unit B592 is undergoing the reclamation process as we speak. Before long, he'll be back.
You are. You've met with the Directorate. I assume they made their intentions known? It was difficult for them to reach the decision to engage in open hostility. What about you? You agree with their decision?
How long has this been coming? When did they decide on this course of action?
The arrival of the Brotherhood's airship was the final straw, really. There's just too much at stake. You can't afford to...
You know, Mother, it's no secret that you worked with the Railroad in order to first reach the Institute.
The depth of your involvement with them has been called into question repeatedly. I'm sure you can guess by whom. The question is, where do you stand with them now? Do you count them amongst your allies?
How I feel about them isn't important.
No, it is important. It's the only thing that matters right now. For the Institute's position in the Commonwealth to be secure, the Railroad must be eliminated. Completely. As our primary above-ground operative and someone who has had previous contact with the Railroad, you are in the best position to carry this out. So what I'm getting at, simply...
Is this really necessary?
I'm afraid it is. I take no pleasure in it, but it must be done for the...
Sure. There has to be another solution here. Something less violent.
I'm afraid the time for hesitation has passed. We must act decisively, and we must act now.
I won't do that to them.
Even knowing that they would kill all of us, you included, to get what they want. I'm sorry, but consider this an order. It must be done. I'll expect a report when they've been eliminated.
На самом деле, из всех заданий за институт мне больше всего не хотелось сделать именно это.
Speaking of which, if you don't mind a sidekick. The Institute has ordered me to kill you. All of you.
I guess they consider us a real threat after all. I suppose we should be flattered. So really, the question is, what are you going to do about it?
I'm afraid you all have to die.
Huh. Deacon vouched for you. I knew I shouldn't have trusted him. Or you. We're not going down without a fight.
Let's do this.
And so, the work is done. I am sorry. I know it was likely difficult for you.
You're confident the railroad is finished?
As confident as we can be. It was always a loose network. But with the key players gone, it's not impossible that they'll be back someday. But it will take them time. There is obviously one final threat the Institute faces.
What is it? What's this last threat?
Well, perhaps it's not that obvious after all. The Brotherhood of Steel covets technology, and has made it clear that we cannot peacefully coexist. They will eventually come for us, and attempt to take what we've spent so long creating. We need to destroy them before they can destroy us.
You're right. We take the fight to them.
I'm glad you agree. But the problem with the Brotherhood of Steel goes beyond the edges of the Commonwealth. It's not enough to destroy them here. There are more of them out in the world, Mother. And they too will come for us.
You have something in mind if that happens?
I'd like to prevent it from happening in the first place. We will show them that if they interfere with us, the very technology they value so highly will be turned against them. We will teach them that we can appear at a moment's notice, wherever we please, and they cannot ever stop us. They will know better than to ever interfere with us again.
So, we're just gonna attack them?
There's a plan that's a little more involved than that. Dr. Lee should be expecting you in her lab. She can fill you in on the details. Time is of the essence.
После разговора с отцом о том, что нужно уже уничтожить Братство Стали, идем в Институт высших систем и выслушиваем инструктаж.
That. Well, let's get to it. Dr. Orman, over here, please. It's time.
What now? I'm still working over the code that the robotics sent over. The algorithm is a mess. It's not even close to peak efficiency.
It would seem we've run out of time. Let's go. We're going to cover the basics of the operation as it stands now.
Yes.
Dr. Orman has done most of the prep work, so I'll let her explain.
Okay, thanks. Is this really exciting, or is it just me? So, you know that the Brotherhood's main operation is at the airport, right?
I'm aware of that, yes.
Okay, good. If they were a little less intelligent, we wouldn't even be talking about this. We'd have just swarmed them with synths. But they're not idiots. They've managed to generate an EM field that's messing with our ability to relay in.
So we just relay onto the airship and sabotage it?
Won't do us any good. There's no direct connection between their robot and the airship, so the immediate area around their encampment is a no-go. They don't, however, have the entire airport covered. We can relay you in to a point at the edge of the airport, and then you can get in and take down the generators.
We'll have the element of surprise, if nothing else.
Exactly. You'll have surprise on your side. Should give you some time before they can organize a real defense. For every generator you take down, it means we can start relaying in synths, giving you even more of an advantage. And, oh! I almost forgot. Take these.
And these would be...
Oh, you'll like this. This thing, and I haven't come up with a good name for it yet, it basically deploys a beacon marker. Wherever they land, we can lock onto them and relay synths directly to that position. If there's a hotspot, you can drop synths right on it. We've only got a few of these, so put them to good use. Don't go tossing them into the bay.
Okay, that's pretty good. I'm impressed.
I know, right? I mean, thanks. I thought it was neat. But still, it's just to help. Your real job will be to reach Liberty Prime. You know the deal with that, right?
What's Liberty Prime?
Dr. Lee can give you the rundown.
Yes, well, the Brotherhood discovered him. An old pre-war military project that never saw the light of day due to power problems that couldn't be solved. With my assistance, they were able to get his reactor running and use him against their enemies.
What did you do?
I designed and oversaw the building of the reactor that ultimately solved the power problems. The point here is that in designing the power system for the robot, I had full knowledge of every onboard system. I know exactly what it is capable of and precisely how to exploit those capabilities.
We've taken everything we know, made a few modifications based on what we think they've done with it in the past 10 years. And, this part was my idea, uploaded the whole thing into a modified synth, capable of delivering the virus directly into Liberty Prime. The little guy is going to be exposed and vulnerable, so you'll have to keep an eye on him. Make sure he doesn't get shot, you know?
What exactly is this virus going to do for us?
Well, if nothing else, it'll take over the weapon systems, and establish their airship as a primary target. You can figure out what happens next. So your end goal is ultimately pretty simple. Get to the robot, then hold the position while the synth does his thing. Oh, and don't worry, we'll pull you out of there before everything explodes.
If you have any questions, now's the time to ask. Otherwise, they'll be waiting for you in the relay room.
Have we got a plan B?
We don't need a plan B. This will work. Anything else?
What have I got for backup?
Once the generators are down, we'll be able to throw everything we've got at them. And I do mean everything.
What happens to Liberty Prime after this?
They'll be destroyed along with the rest of the Brotherhood.
No questions. Let's do this.
Very well. Good luck to you.
Dr. Lee might not show it.
Далее идет очень много стрельбы. А потом еще. И еще. Ну и естественно защищаем синтов, который скачивает вирус в Либерти Прайма. Далее нам, естественно, нужно оттуда смыться, пока все не взлетело на воздух. Возвращаемся в институт и видим умирающего.
Ah, there you are. I've already heard the news. But of course you wouldn't be here if it weren't a success. I'm glad it worked, but I'm glad you're safe.
Are you comfortable?
It's good of you to ask. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Just take care of the Institute. Take care of its people. They're good people. You know that. Hallie has always been loyal to the Institute. And to me. You can rely on her for help. Once I'm gone, it's all up to you.
Isn't there some other way? Some other treatment that could help you?
Nothing permanent, no. The inevitable could be delayed, but at increasingly terrible cost, I simply decided it wasn't worth it. Don't worry about me. You need to look ahead. Focus on the future. Our time together has been strange, hasn't it? I spent years wondering what you were like. Thinking about all we missed out on. I want you to know that I'm grateful for the time we've had.
Do you really mean that?
Yes. Of course I do. Thank you. Mother, you've helped a boy achieve his dreams. I think I'd like to sleep now.
I've lost Sean. All over again. I close my eyes. I see my life before all of this. Before the bombs. Everything can change in an instant, and the future you plan for yourself shifts, whether or not you're ready. At some point, it happens to all of us. This was not the world I wanted, but it was the one I found myself in. The Commonwealth. My home. Ripped apart and put back together. I thought I hoped I could find my family. Cheat time, make us whole again, the way we were. But now I know. I know I can't go back. I know the world has changed. The road ahead will be hard. This time I'm ready. Because I know war. War never changes.
На этом все. Ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь, комментируйте. Встретимся в новых видео.
I know this must be difficult for you.
He mentioned you. Said he always trusted you.
That's very complimentary. Thank you. I hope you'll feel the same going forward. Obviously, the director's quarters are now yours. I'll see to it that Requisitions is restocked and have them add in some additional items to be used at your discretion. Some of the divisions may still need your help. Consider checking in with them. Good luck, Director.